Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 2020 Annual Benefit for Manhattan Legal Services. I am Melissa Garza, Chair of the MLS Board, and it is my great joy and privilege to welcome you tonight. We have a lovely evening planned as we honor two outstanding law firms who have given a great deal to MLS over the years, Debevoise Plimpton and Goodwin Proctor, and also our corporate honoree, the Legal Department of Citizens Bank, which has partnered with MLS and many law firms, including Goodwin, for several years in our client clinics. They, along with you, help Manhattan Legal Services continue to do the critical work for our clients that is needed now more than ever. More than ever. As I say that, I pause because each year I say something akin to that, and each year it is true. This pandemic has brought economic and societal devastation to the very constituencies MLS serves. Whether you are a person trapped at home with your abuser, facing the threat of eviction from your home, or trying to get badly needed benefits that will keep you afloat, Manhattan Legal Services is a place of refuge in the storm. I am proud to be a member of this board, and like you, a supporter of the MLS staff, who have answered the call of those in need during these times. Since March, I have read too many stories in the paper that break my heart, and I wonder, what can I do? The MLS staff doesn't have to wonder. They do it every day in and day out. They are helping our clients, led by Peggy Earisman, MLS's project director since 2003. I salute them. We know they can't do this without funding, so thank you for your time and generous sharing of resources. Finally, we are 19 days from Election Day. I would be remiss if I didn't remind you to please vote. I recently read the words of Nelson Mandela from a speech he delivered in 2005. As long as poverty, injustice, and gross inequality persist in our world, none of us can truly rest. Let us continue to work together to make this world better. Thank you for your support. May you and yours be safe and well. Now please help me welcome Peggy Earisman, Director of MLS, who will say a few words about how MLS is working and responding to the needs of our clients during this pandemic.
Good evening and welcome to the first ever virtual Manhattan Legal Services Award Ceremony. My name is Peggy Earisman and I am the Director of Manhattan Legal Services. On behalf of the staff and clients of Manhattan Legal Services, I want to express our deep appreciation for your support. Let me tell you a little bit about who we are and why your support makes a difference. Manhattan Legal Services fights poverty and seeks racial, social, and economic justice through providing legal representation which addresses the causes of injustice. For example, our lawyers and paralegals stop eviction, keeping people in their home. We ensure people live in safety, address systemic discrimination for our LGBTQ clients, represent people seeking asylum, and we advocate on behalf of our clients to obtain needed income for survival and stability. For all of us, this has been an incredibly challenging year. At Manhattan Legal Services, we have faced personal losses and challenges, as well as huge professional challenges in serving our clients in an altered and ever-evolving landscape. For our clients, and particularly for communities of color, this year has been tragic and devastating. In most New York City neighborhoods, the majority of deaths occurred among African Americans. Latinx folks have likewise been hit especially hard. In one immigrant community in Queens, the rate of positivity of antibody tests was a stunning 68%. Job losses have particularly impacted communities of color and low-income people dramatically. In August, about 1 in 4 persons of color were officially unemployed, and that number does not count the countless numbers of undocumented immigrant workers who lost their source of income. I am truly proud of the staff of Manhattan Legal Services who rose immediately to help people facing unemployment and extreme poverty. We, along with our Legal Services NYC colleagues, set up a telephone access line to assist clients in directly filing applications for benefits, cash, and food stamps. Our employment unit assisted hundreds of people who could not get unemployment benefits, as well as representing dozens of small businesses facing economic disaster. As a result, over 1,000 residents of Manhattan obtained public assistance or unemployment benefits in the first months of the pandemic, money they desperately needed for food and rent and utilities. But we cannot do this work alone. The money we raise tonight will go directly into salaries for our benefits and employment staff. We are seeking to increase our resources for those critical services. And we also need pro bono assistance. The work of helping our clients recover requires all of us. It is too big for the MLS staff alone. For their steadfast commitment to the work, I would like to give a special thanks to the 3 pro bono institutions that we are honoring tonight: the legal team at Citizens Bank and the law firms of Debevoise and Goodwin. They have been instrumental in our work on behalf of low-income immigrants over the years. Working in collaboration with us and with one another, they have served well over 100 individuals who would otherwise have been turned away for lack of resources. Scores of new Americans can thank Citizens, Debevoise and Goodwin for their dedicated effort to naturalize clients regardless of their income, and in the face of expanding barriers over the past few years. Even the pandemic has not stopped them from continuing to serve clients who are in need. Each of these institutions has partnered with Legal Services NYC on virtual clinics in recent months. Finally, in keeping with the MLS tradition of working in partnership with our communities, I would like to thank African Services Committee for being a wonderful partner as we work to fight injustice in New York City. You will hear more about the great work of our honorees in a moment. Many thanks, and have a great evening. What Manhattan Legal Services does in providing representation to low-income people and to communities of color not only impacts those individuals and those communities, but impacts all of us. What we're doing is effectively leveling the playing field for our clients who can't afford to hire an attorney.
I think fundamentally, everyone deserves the right to legal services, and it shouldn't matter where you live or what your income level is. Because so many times people are not in a position to know how to play the game, and Manhattan Legal Services gives them a place to come and really understand what they can do and what their rights are.
At Manhattan Legal Services, the clients that we serve and the work is so important for these people because sometimes it is between life and death. They're looking for just food stamps, helps them bring food into their home. Medicaid gives them health insurance coverage. Cash assistance helps them pay their rent. All of these things are super important and make a really big difference to people in their lives.
I was working for Dollar General. Then I became pregnant with my second baby. While I was pregnant, I was still working, but they shifted me from full-time to part-time. So things just started financially getting difficult. And then when the pandemic happened, I was 7 or 8 months pregnant. So with my fear of what was gonna happen and not knowing what to expect, I lost my job.
She gave birth and she was in the middle of an eviction proceeding because she had stopped working. She had only missed 2 to 3 months rent, hardworking woman. She found herself struggling to know if she was gonna have shelter in the midst of a shelter-in-place time period in New York. And so she came to us with an eviction case.
It was devastating because I've always liked to pride myself in being independent and always trying to make sure that financially I was okay to take care of myself, to take care of my son. And so it was hard. It was really a scary, scary thing. It was very overwhelming for me. I didn't know what I was going to do.
So the case was sent to our housing unit, and a housing attorney thought it might be possible that she would be eligible for a rental subsidy, which we call FEPS, which helps clients pay their rent.
Through her shelter allowance and FEP subsidy, her rent is now completely covered. So now she has a newborn at home and she doesn't have to stress out about how to put food on the table and how to keep shelter over her head and her children's head.
It's a big relief. It feels good to not have to constantly worry about if I'm gonna be able to provide for my children, if they're gonna be okay. I'm just grateful that I was able to connect with Manhattan Legal Services and get to where I am now, which is pushing me in a more positive direction. And I just recently signed up for Lehman College, so I'm currently back in school, enrolled in Bachelor's for Social Work. If I didn't have Manhattan Legal Services, I honestly honestly don't know where I would have been. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart in the most genuine way possible for everything that you have done for me, for the doors that you've opened for me, for the peace that you've brought to my mind, to my heart, and just to my family overall. Thank you so much.
I think most people appreciate that COVID has really exposed the deep divide in societal injustice and economic injustice in this world. And so many of the clients in New York City are the very individuals who depend on hourly wage jobs that are really no longer there and or exposing them to risk of illness. So it's really important in these times that they know that they're going to hold on to their home even if they can't temporarily pay rent until things get a little bit back to normal.
I was working full-time in the hospitality industry, and around mid-April, I found out that I had been laid off because of the coronavirus pandemic. And then when it came to applying for my unemployment benefits, I did apply, and unfortunately, nothing seemed to be happening in terms of me being able to receive my benefits. And that's when I sought the help of Manhattan Legal Services.
Ms. Jenkins had applied for unemployment insurance and was having a hard time getting the Department of Labor to release the benefits. And with the millions of people who became unemployed at the same time, which was around late March, early April, the computer system crashed. So when people were making attempts, no matter what time of the day it was, they were unsuccessful. Ms. Jenkins was unfortunately one of those claimants who was not able to get through.
This went on for months. It was an extremely stressful time for me, and to add insult to injury, I found out my SNAP benefits had been terminated, my Medicaid had been terminated, and so that meant I had nothing. The savings I had were basically gone. I had no access really to buy food. It turned into a mega nightmare.
The Department of Labor was finally able to investigate that all her certifications that she was attempting to make were all legitimate and that she was eligible for all of the benefits backdated to when she first made her application, which were around $11,000.
When I finally found out that I would be receiving my benefits, it was a very pleasant shock. It was unbelievable. Without Manhattan Legal Services, I would not have been able to get the help that I needed. I just want to thank Manhattan Legal Services from the depths of my heart. They gave me the opportunity to really get back on my feet to the best of my ability during very difficult times, and I appreciate that.
A lot of our clients lost their jobs overnight, and there were many people who had never been on benefits before. So what we did this summer is that we started a benefits application clinic, and what that was, when clients call in, they would be helped with their application over the phone. Our cases, when we opened that clinic, tripled overnight. And the pro bono unit brought us different firms that actually volunteered their time and would call clients back and help them through this process for the application. Clients have been able to get benefits quicker. It just helps so much.
It is really fundamentally hard to serve all of the needs of New York City residents. By taking these law firms who support us with their pro bono hours and resources, we are able to amplify the services we provide exponentially. It's their expertise, it's their numbers, it's their offices, it's their attorneys, and we are incredibly grateful to firms like Debevoise Plimpton and Goodwin Proctor for their help, and to our corporate allies like Citizens Bank and their legal department for helping us do the work we do.
Without your support, we would not be able to have the impact that we have and do the great work that we do. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank all of you for supporting us and for being committed to making change in New York City. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Luis Enriquez Carrero, and I am the Litigation Director at Manhattan Legal Services. It is my pleasure to introduce our community partner honoree, African Services Committee. Here to accept the honors is our good friend, Franco Torres, supervising attorney at the organization. For many of us at Manhattan Legal Services, doing legal work in support of the goals of community-based organizations and people-led movements is central to our advocacy approach. It is with that spirit that Denise Akron, our Public Benefits Acting Director, took the initiative to reach out to African Services Committee to discuss an ongoing collaboration between our offices. In Denise's own words at the time, why are we not partnering with African Services Committee? Not only have they been a long-standing, wide-ranging service provider to members of the African diaspora in the Harlem community, they have also lent their institutional name to lawsuits seeking to fight back the current administration's assault on working-class immigrant communities, including litigation challenging the administration's public charge rule. Denise was right. This was a partnership we had to prioritize, and our work at Manhattan Legal Services is stronger for it. Thanks to our partnership with African Services Committee, we have been able to provide Know Your Rights training and legal representation to staff and constituents of the organization in matters ranging from housing to public benefits to immigration. We have been able to deepen our understanding of and connection with the African diaspora in the Harlem community, all thanks to this partnership. It is, therefore, with great pleasure that I introduce tonight's honoree, our community partner and friends, African Services Committee. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Franco Torres, and I'm the supervising attorney for the Legal Department and African Services Committee. On behalf of African Services Committee, I first want to give a heartfelt thank you to Manhattan Legal Services for recognizing the work that we do on behalf of our clients and the community. Second, I want to express my sincere gratitude for being invited to accept this award and being able to speak to you today. And finally, I want to give congratulations to our fellow honorees, Citizens Bank, Debevoise Plimpton, and Goodwin Proctor. We have truly valued and enjoyed developing a closer and more involved relationship with Manhattan Legal Services during this year. Both our clients and our staff have greatly benefited from our collaborations. We are deeply grateful to the Manhattan Legal Services staff for investing their time to train our staff to be better able to help our clients deal with public benefits and housing issues. We are also extremely grateful to Manhattan Legal Services for providing the ability for us to refer cases that are beyond our ability and capacity so that our clients can get the help that they desperately need. It is really wonderful to have such a responsive and reliable partner like Manhattan Legal Services as a resource to help our clients with urgent issues that we are unable to resolve. Specifically, I'd like to thank Luis Enriquez, the Director of Litigation, Denise Akron, the Supervising Attorney for the Government Benefits Unit, and Rosalind Black, the Housing Director, for their specific efforts in fostering the relationship between Manhattan Legal Services and African Services Committee. It is clear that Manhattan Legal Services and African Services Committee are kindred organizations that are rooted in the pursuit to lift up vulnerable populations. And it has been truly a pleasure to work towards this endeavor over the course of this year. African Services Committee was founded by Ethiopian immigrants in 1981 for the purposes of providing better ability and access to resources for immigrants to have success in their lives in this country through legal, housing, health, and educational services. At our headquarters in Harlem, our diverse and compassionate staff serves refugees and immigrants from nearly 120 countries across the globe. We test for infectious diseases such as tuberculosis, HIV and AIDS, viral hepatitis, and now COVID-19. We distribute nutritious food to thousands of families. We support LGBTQ asylum seekers. We provide free and affordable legal immigration services to newcomers. We teach literacy to new immigrant adult learners, provide case management and housing assistance, and we navigate clients to much needed healthcare. From the refugee crisis and HIV, AIDS, and tuberculosis epidemics in the 1980s to the 2014 Ebola outbreak to the now continued assault on immigrants under the current administration, we've encountered much in our nearly 4 decades of service to newcomers. Now, in 2020, we continue to adapt, this time in response to COVID-19. Immigrants are on the front lines during this pandemic, and we have continued to serve with all of our capacity. We are now proud to be a COVID-19 testing site. As African Services Committee's supervising attorney, I can tell you that our dedicated legal team has adapted to the COVID-19 pandemic, pivoting to provide services in a virtual environment. And we continue to provide these services in a culturally competent, safe, and multilingual environment. We work to provide information to the community, dispel fear and misinformation that are emanating from this administration's continued and ongoing attacks on both immigrants and families. It is for this reason that it is vital that kindred organizations like Manhattan Legal Services and African Services Committee stand together and continue to work together to help serve the most vulnerable populations during these difficult times. Thank you for this special recognition. African Services Committee is grateful to have such a strong partner in Manhattan Legal Services, and we are honored to be here today.
My name is Yolanda Guerra, and I'm the Deputy Director of Immigration at Manhattan Legal Services. My role at MLS is to provide support and coordinate the efforts of all the attorneys who provide immigration services to our clients, both in the Family Law and Immigration Unit, as well as the LGBTQ and HIV unit. Our attorneys represent clients on a wide array of immigration matters. We have an extensive removal defense practice where we help clients and sometimes entire families who are in danger of being deported. We work with unaccompanied minors, survivors of domestic violence, and victims of human trafficking to file for affirmative relief in the hopes of eventually helping them obtain green cards. We also help green card holders petition for their family members and naturalize so that they may enjoy the rights that come along with being U.S. citizens. The legal team at Citizens Bank has been an essential partner in our immigration work for more than 3 years. They have attended regular naturalization clinics at both Debevoise and Goodwin, including a virtual naturalization clinic in partnership with Debevoise in July. We have been particularly impressed by the consistent participation of so many from the legal department at Citizens. From new attorneys to their general counsel, Steve Gannon, and Susan Steinthal, EVP and head of their consumer banking legal team. Manhattan Legal Services is proud to honor Citizens Bank for their dedication to pro bono service.
On behalf of the Citizens Bank Legal Department, I'm honored to be part of the team accepting this award from Manhattan Legal Services. I can't imagine a more deserving recipient or a more deserving cause. I want to start by speaking a little about Citizens. As part of our corporate credo, the bank is committed to serving our communities, and all colleagues are encouraged to participate in these efforts. Over the past few months alone, our legal team has supported the bank's implementation of the Paycheck Protection Program, through which we made loans to 50,000 small businesses in an aggregate amount of over $5 billion. The vast majority of those loans were made to businesses with fewer than 10 employees in amounts of less than $100,000, with over 500,000 jobs saved. On a smaller scale, the Citizens Legal Team has also helped the bank implement small business recovery grant programs, through which Citizens is providing $15,000 grants to small business customers, with 134 grants already distributed. And through Citizens' Lunch Made Ready program, the bank purchased lunch from local restaurant businesses for essential colleagues who were in the office through the pandemic, supporting both our customers and our colleagues during this period. Also during the pandemic, Citizens announced a $10 million commitment for grants and charitable donations to promote social equity and drive economic advancement in underserved communities. Citizens is committed to community engagement, but there's only so much we can do alone, and that's where Legal Services comes in. Legal Services provides real-time assistance to people in need through a host of programs led by activists who are deeply engaged and incredibly engaging. Their efforts allow Legal Services to bring together a community of legal professionals and others to provide assistance across our community in ways that change the lives of our clients and of those of us who, like me, are lucky enough to become involved. So how did I get involved with legal services? 5 years ago, when I started working for Citizens, we had a nascent pro bono program with a wellspring of corporate and departmental support. But for our New York area staff in particular, we had desktop pro bono offers, but very little to bring us together with clients in person. So like any good in-house lawyer, I brought my problem to outside counsel, in this case Debevoise, where I connected with Jen Cowan. She suggested that our team partner with hers on a naturalization clinic hosted by Legal Services, and the rest is history. In the intervening years, we've partnered with both Debevoise and Goodwin on a number of Legal Services naturalization clinics, allowing members of our legal department to help scores of clients become U.S. citizens. I've also been lucky enough to meet Adam Hines, Legal Services Pro Bono Director, whose extraordinary commitment drives this programming. And a wealth of my Citizens colleagues have helped drive our pro bono efforts, including Margalit Moshe, who's handling programs for the New York area team, and Jay Powers and Molly Frankel, who've been deeply involved in our New England-based programming. Thanks to the efforts of people like Adam at Legal Services, Jen at Debevoise, and my colleagues at Citizens, I'm privileged to say that I personally helped 2 clients become naturalized U.S. citizens. And while it's true that my work helping the bank roll out the Paycheck Protection Program touched a lot more people, its impact wasn't any greater than the impact of creating 2 new U.S. citizens. Now, Citizens Bank calls its community engagement platform Citizens Helping Citizens. But in supporting the work that our legal department does with LSNYC, we're actually Citizens Helping Create Citizens. And I can't think of a better cause to celebrate or better partners for this work. Thanks to Citizens, LSNYC, Debevoise, Goodwin, and the community of donors for supporting these important efforts.
I'm honored to be here today, together with my esteemed colleagues, to be part of the team accepting the award on behalf of Citizens from Legal Services. I fondly remember my first Legal Services event. Having personally never been in a naturalization clinic before, I vividly recall being a bit unsure of what to expect, but eager to experience something new and happy to help where I could. It was truly a great moment for our Jersey City office. Nearly the entire legal team traveled together to the Debevoise office in New York City to participate in what would become a memorable afternoon. I was immediately impressed with how seamlessly we were able to jump right in and start assisting. Legal Services made it easy. Surrounded by my impressive legal colleagues, we advised on numerous citizenship applications and truly helped make a difference in many lives. Once again, Citizens was able to meaningfully contribute towards its community. After experiencing how efficiently we all came together and engaged a population in need, I was instantly hooked. Shortly thereafter, I was encouraged to take on more responsibility and was tasked to lead the Citizens New York Region's pro bono events. Susan Steinthal subsequently introduced me to the Manhattan Legal Services team in order to help facilitate events in our region. We continued to organize citizenship clinics, as well as provided legal services to nonprofit organizations serving low-income communities. The Citizens' commitment to its community did not slow down with the unprecedented events resulting from COVID-19. Instead, Citizens sought a series of virtual pro bono opportunities, together with Debevoise and Goodwin, including one remote citizenship clinic in order to serve those most in need, as well as a virtual clinic to help nonprofit organizations draft waivers and releases for remote learning. Our reason for being here today reminds me of an ancient teaching which has always inspired me, which states that the world is sustained and rests on the foundation of 3 pillars: the study of ethical texts, belief in something greater than ourselves, and acts of loving kindness toward our fellow men and women. I feel privileged to be part of a company and a team that encourages its colleagues to help make the world a better place by helping those in need. Thank you again for the privilege to be here today.
My name is Molly Frankel, and I'm a co-chair of the Citizens Legal Department Pro Bono Committee. I am honored to represent that committee and our entire legal department today in accepting this award from Manhattan Legal Services. Citizens has a long history of volunteerism, and our commitment to the communities we serve is deeply embedded in our corporate culture. Central to that culture is our corporate credo, a promise to, among other things, do the right thing and perform our best every day for our communities. This is not lip service. At Citizens, we walk the walk. Last year, Citizens colleagues volunteered close to 145,000 hours, and our legal department performed over 1,500 hours of pro bono services to a variety of deserving causes. 2020 is my 10th year anniversary at Citizens, and I am proud and grateful to be a part of an organization that places such a high value on service, and a legal department in particular that both facilitates and encourages me to make the time to do this meaningful work. The pro bono work we do is personally rewarding, and it fosters a unique sense of community within our in-house legal department, one that's built on a collective desire to use our legal skills and expertise to make the world a better place. It encourages interaction in teamwork across the department, giving attorneys and staff alike a chance to collaborate with colleagues in different practice groups in different offices. And it provides us with an opportunity to stretch, a chance to broaden and vary our workload by exposing us to areas of the law that we typically don't encounter in our roles at the bank. How do we do this? Our pro bono committee partners with both legal service organizations like Manhattan Legal Services and outside law firms like Debevoise and Goodwin to offer a variety of pro bono opportunities to our legal staff members and attorneys. So far this year, I have volunteered at a naturalization clinic where I helped clients complete application paperwork that takes them one step closer to citizenship. I drafted liability waivers and advised a New York City-based nonprofit on implementing codes of conduct for online youth empowerment programming that was pushed out over the summer to the children of domestic violence survivors. And I participated in a quarry sealing clinic over Zoom, where I helped a low-income single mother of 3 from Boston to seal parts of her Massachusetts criminal record that had impacted her ability to get housing and secure a job. The success of our Citizens Pro Bono program depends on the strength of our partnerships with legal service organizations and our outside law firms. As the experts in this arena, legal services partners like Manhattan Legal Services provide guidance and direction on where the real need exists. They provide us training for lawyers and staff members who are typically volunteering in new areas of practice. And they provide critical insight that helps our pro bono committee and our department alike make thoughtful, informed decisions that focus our pro bono programming and the breadth of the pro bono opportunities that we make available to our colleagues. We are especially thankful for our partnership with Manhattan Legal Services, and we look forward to our continued collaboration with you in the years to come. Thank you.
Debevoise is delighted to be honored by Manhattan Legal Services, especially because we share the award with our good friends at Citizens Bank and Goodwin Proctor. Congratulations to our co-honorees. Debevoise has a long history of doing pro bono work with Manhattan Legal Services, and in fact, my partner, Will Taft, sits on the board. Debevoise also has appreciated the long relationship with Citizens, and I have had the privilege of working with Citizens for most of my career. While we certainly enjoy the opportunity to work with Citizens on a wide array of transactional and regulatory matters, we are also very proud to be associated with an institution of Citizens' integrity and community focus. Citizens' credo is good banking is good citizenship, and that the success of the communities they serve is critical to their own success. The efforts with Manhattan Legal Services recognized today demonstrate yet again that these are more than just words. The lawyers and legal staff at Citizens Bank, with Susan Steinthal taking the lead, have been our dedicated partners in this work. Over the past 4 years, we've together helped dozens of low-income New Yorkers become U.S. citizens. We have done several in-person clinics in our offices, but unfortunately, the days of in-person legal clinics seem far away right now. Still, even the pandemic cannot defeat our spirit. This summer, Citizens lawyers and legal staff worked with us in our first virtual clinic with LSNYC, working remotely to help clients complete naturalization applications. We had the same excellent training via webinar, and then each client team arranged separate calls with their client. I'm glad we've been able to continue this important work together and to help vulnerable New Yorkers. But I really will be delighted when we can do it again with our friends at Citizens in person. I find our naturalization representations to be particularly moving because the last step in a long journey, sometimes one that has lasted decades, of people who chose to be in the United States. It is an honor for us to help our clients gain the security that comes with being a citizen and becoming full participants in the life of our country. Thank you to Manhattan Legal Services for this award and for giving us the opportunity to do this work. And thank you to Citizens for doing this important work with us. We look forward to many more successful collaborations in the future. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Bill Harrington. I'm a partner at Goodwin and co-chair of its pro bono committee. On behalf of everyone at Goodwin, let me say thank you. It's especially meaningful to receive this recognition from an organization as dedicated as Manhattan Legal Services. It has protected low-income New Yorkers through pro bono legal assistance for over 50 years. We share its steadfast commitment to achieving racial, social, and economic justice. Goodwin displays its shared commitment through the 150-plus attorneys who volunteered with legal services over the past several years. Many participated in citizenship legal clinics run by legal services staff at Goodwin's offices. Collectively, we assisted hundreds of legal permanent residents successfully apply to become naturalized U.S. citizens. Others joined our new COVID-19 remote public benefits clinic. These attorneys assist New Yorkers struggling during the pandemic as they navigate the laws related to public benefits programs. They help families apply for food stamps, Medicaid, and Social Security and disability support. Our lawyers experience the power of using one's skills to assist needy clients, the power of making a person's life concretely better. Many say it ranks among the most meaningful experiences of their legal careers. One participant in our benefits clinic recently described the reward of deploying her skills to help a literal neighbor of hers affected by the pandemic. I also note this shared commitment when we work alongside a partner like Citizens Bank. Many from the bank's legal department have supported and staffed our clinics. Their engagement amplified the services we offer to legal permanent residents who dream of becoming U.S. citizens. We are grateful to these volunteers. We are also grateful to Steve Gannon, General Counsel and Chief Legal Officer of Citizens Financial Group. On pro bono, Steve leads by example. He personally volunteers at Goodwin citizenship clinics. He enthusiastically encourages a culture of volunteerism that Citizens Bank has shown in our clinics. I would also like to recognize the work being celebrated by our other fellow honoree, Debevoise. We share a commitment to pro bono legal services. Circumstances today require that we nurture that shared commitment. The global pandemic has had a devastating impact on our society's most vulnerable. We understand that many families are struggling for security, to pay for food and rent, to get medical care. Today, we acutely need organizations like Legal Services. The times call upon us to sustain the shared commitment to help those in need. We look forward to continuing our work together. Thank you.
I was under a lot of stress the last 2 years, not knowing whether I'm going to be homeless. I got to stay in my home. I won the case. Everything turned out to be a blessing. I felt that the lawyers here at Manhattan Legal Services goes all out to represent you regardless of who you are. It's a hell of a relief now that this is all over, thanks to Manhattan Legal Services.
My family was not safe. Even me, I was not safe. Thank you so much for Manhattan Legal Service. I was so happy like a crazy because I know we are safe. God bless Manhattan Legal Service.
I'm extremely grateful to Manhattan Legal Services. It's a great thing because he has his family in Colombia. Now he's able to see his mom. He hasn't seen his mom and his dad in more than 3.5 years. We are extremely happy.
I was about to become homeless. I couldn't do that. I have a granddaughter. Manhattan Legal was that stepping stone that I needed in that cloudy, fogged room. When the smoke cleared, they were standing there, and after the interview, they told me they were going to handle my case. I walked out, I got into the elevator, and I had these uncontrollable tears that followed me all the way to the train station. The whole way home, I just cried because somebody said they were going to finally help me.
If I didn't have Manhattan Legal Services, I don't know where I would be right now. And they put a lot of effort into my case, and I feel that they did everything that was right for me. I want to say thank you, Manhattan Legal Services, for getting me the benefits that I needed, and I can finally move on in my life.
The work that Manhattan Legal Services does is so important to their clients because they truly are the last line of defense when it comes to protecting their rights as an employee, as a tenant, as a member of our society.
The men and women of Manhattan Legal Services serve our city's most vulnerable citizens. And given recent changes at the federal level, it's been more important than ever to make sure that access to justice is provided for those citizens at the local level. And that's what the men and women of Manhattan Legal Services do every day.
We demand justice.
Demand justice.
We demand
justice.
We demand justice for low-income veterans
seeking housing and financial stability.
For tenants displaced by slumlords.
For elderly Manhattanites
seeking access to affordable housing.
For low-income families affected by gentrification.
For single mothers and their children.
We demand justice.
For people with disabilities.
For students with special needs.
For low-income workers seeking a living wage.
For homeowners facing foreclosure.
For survivors of domestic violence.
We demand justice
for LGBTQ asylum seekers.
For veterans denied their benefits.
For tenants facing eviction.
We demand justice for all New Yorkers.
Wow, this has been such a wonderful event. Thank you all so much for your good work and your support, which has provided such remarkable help for those who need it so much. We all know that the COVID pandemic hit New York City particularly hard. Nearly 468,000 cases, 33,000 deaths, and an unemployment rate that skyrocketed to 20% in June and July. Before the pandemic, nearly 1.7 million New Yorkers had incomes under the federal poverty level. That reality is now much worse for those families and for so many more who've been impoverished by recent unemployment. And we know from experience that poverty leads to potentially life-threatening problems. You've heard tonight about the remarkable work of our partners at the African Services Committee and of our pro bono supporters and advocates at Debevoise and Goodwin Proctor and Citizens Bank, who've helped hundreds of families who were hit hard by immigration and COVID-related income problems. You also heard how Manhattan Legal Services helped Ms. Carrero and Ms. Jenkins get done what could not have been done without an advocate: to keep shelter and stability for a family with a newborn baby, and to get unemployment benefits and food stamps and health care in these most dire of all times. Our advocates and our partners help low-income New Yorkers get and keep the essentials of life: shelter, safety from domestic violence, economic and family stability, and access to health care and education. This past year alone, Legal Services NYC helped more than 105,000 children and their families across the city. More than 15,000 of them here in Manhattan. As MLS Board Chair Melissa Garza noted so eloquently, everyone deserves legal services. It shouldn't matter where you live or what your income is. But it does matter, because there's no right to a lawyer in civil matters, and because our ability to provide those services is under assault because of the devastating cuts we are already experiencing as a result of the economic downturn and related loss of funding from the city and state. As we all know, there can be no justice when one side has a lawyer and the other does not. Nathan Hecht, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Texas, captured perfectly the value of legal services when he said, "Justice for only those who can afford it is neither justice for all nor justice at all." MLS makes life better and the system fairer for everyone in Manhattan. I'm so pleased to acknowledge and thank Peggy Earisman and her staff for their amazing work, and to thank all of you, and especially the African Services Committee, Debevoise, Goodwin Proctor, Citizens Bank, and the Manhattan Legal Services Board for helping us to celebrate and to deliver every day on a core promise of our Constitution: equal opportunity, fairness, and justice for all. Thank you and good night.